Man, we lost a true legend yesterday, especially here in D.C., but I mean, respected all around the country and the world, and that was Bobby Mitchell from the Washington Redskins, man. Bobby Mitchell, a true legend, man. Is the great player, man, great friend. You know, I'm sure you knew him too, Tony.
Yeah, I met him on several occasions. Just a great guy. This one hurt when I heard this. This one hit me. This one hit me.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. You know, as a matter of fact, I immediately called DJ because I wanted to tell him that Bobby was the reason we got to go to his favorite moment ever as Skins fan, to the John Riggins Super Bowl when John.
Oh, wow.
17.
Yeah, man. Bobby gave us those tickets, man.
Wow.
Bobby hooked that up for me, man. The only time we were ever on the field watching a game, Bobby hooked that up for us, man. And you know, that was for that was for my son. You know, I'm looking. I promised DJ early in that season that if the Skins do anything special, if they go to the Super Bowl, I'm taking you. And they went. Now I gotta get tickets.
Right.
Out of my big mouth. Right. So I called Bobby, and Bobby made that happen for me, man. So you know, so for me, that's so special when you do something for anyone's children, man. You know, it's just you know, to create a memory like that, man. DJ was 14. You know, we walk in there, man. He's got his face all painted up, man, like he's on the warpath, and you know, it was awesome, man. So then I felt bad because I talked to Bobby. I happened to call him. Me and Pam were on our way out to dinner one night, and I called him. This was about a year ago, and talked to him and his wife, Gwen. Just so sweet. And I said, "Man, just thinking about you, bruh, and just we have to get together sometimes. Man, you ought to come by for dinner sometime." I said, "Okay, cool." Never happened, and you know how that goes, Yep. But. Man. So anyway, I wanted to have my other B. Mitch on, Brian Mitchell, because he's part of one of those Redskins legends too, and just to get his thought on the passing of Bobby Mitchell. B. Mitch, what do you think, man? What did you think when you first saw it?
It hit me hard, man, and I think ultimately it's like. We all get caught in those situations where we let life take over us and we don't get a chance to stop in and talk to people and check on them. The last time I saw him actually was at the Leukemia Lymphoma Society golf tournament last year, to be totally honest with you. And I would check with him through Vernon, one of my buddies who's close to that family. Check in with Vernon would always be around the family, so I was always finding out how things were, what he was dealing with, and things like that. But just my memories of Bobby, he basically made me realize what we could be. You saw the things that he went through and he dealt with, but for some reason he had no bitterness at all. Someone was just talking and said where Charlie Castley, they felt that Bobby was passed over when they gave Charlie the GM's job, but Bobby and Charlie were still cool. And he supported Charlie, but it's just like, I strive to try to be that person to where I can look past things, and he was that guy. He was classy as hell, a great football.
Teammate.
Yeah, he was a great football player, but I think the things he did off the field were million times better than that. And you mentioned Gwen, and everybody I talked to today, JB came on, Coach Gibbs came on. Every one of them mentioned Gwen, because I think, you saw Bobby, you saw Gwen. You see Gwen, you see Bobby. Those two were like I say, thicker than a snicker. They was always together. They ride or die, and that's how it is with those two.
Yeah, man. Wow. Special dude, man. And, of course, was one of the first black players. I guess it was 3 of them that came that year when the Skins integrated, and they were the last team to integrate. But I think there were 3 black names on the roster, and he was one of them. But, of course, that famous picture, man, where, he's with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jim Brown and,
Ali. Yep.
Ali,
they went in to try to change Ali's mind about going to war and this, that, and the other. They came out supporting him. That just tell you how strong Ali was too. But hold on, brothers. Let me explain this thing for y'all.
Right. No question.
Yep.
And some of the stories Bobby used to tell me about Jim Brown, I will not go into on the air here, but I'll just say this. That dude was wild. And Jim, that was his roommate. Jim Brown was his roommate for years, man. So it just was crazy, man. But one thing he used to talk about too was that he's just talking about how football, how it is now compared to what it used to be. Now if one toe touches that white line on the side, somebody touches you, it's a flag and 15 yards, and you may be out for 3 weeks. And he said back then, man, we would be 20 yards off the field, somebody come and crack you in the side of your head, man. You look at the ref like, man, what was it? Play ball.
Yeah, exactly. That was. And speaking of Jim Brown, I read this story. His quote was that Bobby had to suffer more for being black than any other person that he knew that played football at that time. When he came here to Washington, he was put into this position, but he dealt with it. And the thing about him is that you brought him, Donnie, the classiest dudes you're going to meet, man. But always willing to help somebody else.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's one of the when I think about Bobby so much, I think about, none of us can even fully know what he went through back there in the 60s. We know it was horrible, and we probably just know the surface of it. And for him to get through that with class, I know it had to impact him, but for him to carry on, continue to be a part of the organization, reach out to others and help raise money for different funds, what a remarkable man. I just think he was great.
I've been to 1 million charity golf tournaments, and I don't think any would ever amount to the Bobby Mitchell Hall of Fame Classic.
Yep.
I mean, you saw all of those guys who were at the top of their careers, the top of their profession in their sport, but they all showed up because Bobby asked them to come.
Right.
And that right there, and that I'm talking about every sport. It make a difference. They showed up to support him.
Yeah, well, I can give you an example of that because I've played in a few of them, and one of them I was at. Bill Russell played in it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and I have a memory from that upstairs because it was such a cool. It was the cool night. After the tournament, they had the awards dinner, and so they did this auction. They're auctioning off items. Bobby had a football with all of the Hall of Fame players that were at the tournament. It was like 40 names on this ball, right, that they had signed. And so somebody said, I think the bidding was like $300, $400 or something. And then somebody yells out, I'll give you $1,000 if Bill Russell signs it. Because everybody knows Bill Russell doesn't sign it.
There you go.
Right? So Bill said, okay, I'll do it. He signs it. To make a long story short, that ball ends up going for $4,000 that night because Bill Russell signed it, and that's the thing I have upstairs. I bought
it. Wow!
And so now I look at it and I wonder, was that genius or idiocy? I don't know which. Because it's so rare to have Bill Russell's signature, but it's on a football.
There you go. See, that right there, you may be the only one with that, Donnie.
Yep.
You need to get that appraised, bro. Get that appraised.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Yeah, you may be the only one with that, man. But then again, like you look at the impact, and I was just Martin Mayhew. I put a post up, and Martin Mayhew hit it, and he was like, the reason he became a general manager. I remember Martin telling me in 1990, he said, I'm going to be a general manager. I'm like, how you going to become that? He said, man, I'm taking law classes in all season. And then he put a post today that said Bobby Mitchell was the person who gave him the words and the actions to make him believe he could become a front office guy in the NFL. And Martin Mayhew, who's now the assistant GM with the San Francisco 49ers, was a GM in Detroit.
Or Detroit, I'm sorry.
Yeah, in Detroit. Yep.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's awesome. Well, he inspired a lot of people, he had impact.
Yep.
No doubt about it, man. Well, we're going to miss you, Bobby.
Definitely.
And to Gwen and his family, we send our condolences.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you, B. Mitch. I appreciate you, brother.
No problem, D.